2025 in the theme park world was yet another crazy year. So much news broke, so many notable events took place. Some good, some bad. So let's break it all down and put it into two baskets. Which parks, manufacturers, and chains had a great year and are on their way up, and which ones wish they could erase the year from their collective memory? Let's find out. These are the biggest winners and losers of 2025. First, I want to thank my Patreons and my new member, Michael Casali. If you want bonus access, bonus content, and have your name listed at the end of each video, check my links below and join. Let's start with the winners and move on to the losers, but I have a couple honorable mentions. First, Six Flags Qiddiya. The park some people thought would never come to be, and with good reason. There seems to be a laundry list of parks that have been proposed overseas and never break ground. This might have been the most ambitious project we've ever seen outside the US, but they built it and they're about to open it. It's an honorable mention because we don't know how it's going to fare just yet, but it deserves a mention for making it this far. Also, I want to give a shout out to Dreamworld in Australia. At the very end of last year, they opened Jungle Rush, a great looking dynamic Vekoma launch coaster. Just a great addition for a park that has so much already going for it, but is kind of lacking when it comes to their coaster collection. I didn't get it on my 2024 video because it didn't open till mid-December, so I'll give it some love here. Number 11, Six Flags Over Texas. I normally reserve this for coasters that are actually open, not just announcements, but I think the announcement of Tormenta means great things for the park. Based on the Six Flags quarterly earnings call, we know they're looking to build up some mid-tier parks and will sell off some of the smaller ones. And Tormenta tells us Over Texas is going to be part of the in crowd, so even if Tormenta isn't very good, the sentiment is there and I think it's a good omen for the park. Number 10, Six Flags Great America. Going into the 50th anniversary celebration, Great America opened a major new coaster, Wrath of Rakshasa, having good size at 180 feet tall, a 96-degree drop, and 5 inversions. Most people believe this is one of the better B&M dive layouts. Dive coasters are always crowd pleasers, and this one is plopped right in the middle of the park, managing to fit this in without having to sacrifice a park original, the Aero Looper Demon. A lot of people didn't think they'd be able to build a coaster here and leave Demon intact, so I'd say it was a good year for Great America. Number 9, Lost Island. After opening in 2022, it's been hard for this park in Waterloo, Iowa to gain its footing. They built this as a $100 million park, but you quickly realize $100 million doesn't get you very far, having to use relocated coasters to headline the park. This year, they got something brand new, and a perfect addition to the park, the RMC Raptor Fire Runner. This model was made for a park just like this. It's not that expensive. Its capacity isn't good, but it doesn't need to be. It was just the smartest thing they could do to add to the park. Give us something they could advertise now that the park is in its 4th season, and I'm not sure how it affected attendance, but I can't imagine a smarter, more cost-effective move than this. Not just to get more people into the park, but also to build a good base of attractions for the long term. Number 8, Phantasiana. This park in Austria lost a very highly regarded coaster in Wild Train. This PAX coaster looking like it was made for families, but apparently had insane airtime. So what do? 5 months after it closes, they're ready with its replacement, Helios. It was originally considered a striker coaster, a new model Mock Rides introduced last year with Vulture at Europa Park, but now it's been reclassified as a Big Dipper. In the end, it doesn't matter. They replaced one thrilling small footprint coaster with another, but this one is modern and way more extreme, and not only was it a great ride for the park, they got it turned around very quickly. Number 7, Wallaby Holland. There were a lot of good coasters that opened in 2025, but Wallaby Holland did something really cool. They hired RMC to build them a pair of coasters, intertwined with each other, and they actually duel, but one side was built to be mild, and the other was built to be wild. This is Yoi, or Joy, Dueling Raptors that offers 2 different coasters for different audiences. That's double capacity, a wide range of appeal, and for a fraction of the cost. Raptors aren't that expensive to begin with, and these share a lot of supports. It makes me wonder if this is going to be a trend in the future. Number 6, Wallaby Belgium. Not to leave out the other Wallaby park, this one's celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, and doing so in style. They opened Megalodon, another coaster with mass appeal. Not a kids coaster, not an extreme coaster. It's the first ever Gerstlauer airtime coaster, a well-themed triple launch coaster with over 3,000 feet of track, and has been getting great reviews. So, celebrating a 50th anniversary and opening a hit new coaster, that makes Wallaby a winner. Number 5, Canada's Wonderland. This park has been in our role ever since Cedar Fair took over. They've been banking on big new coasters every 4 to 5 years, adding some smaller ones in between. And although they've been relying on B&M to get the job done in the past, they went to Premier Rides this time. I know the Cedar Fair parks have the backlot stunt coasters, but that was back when Paramount was in charge. They haven't worked with Premier on anything, and here we have a 9-inversion double launch coaster with insane pacing. Oh, also, it explodes out of Winter Mountain. By all accounts, this has been a smash hit, and an extreme launch coaster like this is exactly what Canada's Wonderland needed. Number 4. Cedar Point. After last year's nightmare with Top Thrill 2, Cedar Point pretty much opened 2 new coasters this year. Top Thrill 2 officially opened in 2024, but with only 8 days of operation, most people coming to the peninsula in 2025 got to ride it for the first time. And then you turn around and see another actual new coaster for 2025, Siren's Curse, the first Vekoma tilt coaster to open in America, the first one to open in over 20 years, and people seem to love it, not only for that insane gimmick, but also for a fast-paced inversion-based layout. Being a newish type of coaster, and all the questions we had about Top Thrill 2 and if Zamperla would be able to fix it, Cedar Point has to be thrilled by the performance of both their new coasters. Number 3. Vekoma. Speaking of Siren's Curse, this was just a tip of Vekoma's awesome year in 2025. They built their first tilt coaster in 2002, back when Vekoma was the old Vekoma. And now, New Age Vekoma brought it back and it worked out great. This shaping up to be the next big model all these parks want. Codaland was able to open Circuit Breaker late in the year. Iron Rattler at Six Flags Qiddiya is set for opening also. They got Flash Vertical Velocity open at Great Adventure after a year delay. They have projects lined up at Kentucky Kingdom and Six Flags Mexico next year. And it looks like they're behind Magic Mountain's next coaster, whatever that may be. Vekoma is bolstering their presence in the USA, not to mention the fact they have 33 projects that either open this year or are in the works to open in the future around the world. Vekoma is on the rise, and when it comes to America, the success of Siren's Curse will go a long way in making them more popular here in the States. Number 2. Epic Universe. It hasn't been all fun and games for Epic Universe. They've had maintenance issues with Battle at the Ministry. They're facing a lawsuit over a death on Stardust Racers. But in general, they nailed the opening of their new $7 billion park. This was announced in 2019 and was delayed a couple years, but they took their time. They announced their opening date of May 22, 2025 way back in the fall of 2024, and after a bunch of preview days, they were ready to rock on opening day. I've been to openings where the park has key parts missing, but Epic Universe nailed it. They were prepared, well staffed, all the rides were opened, and by the end of the day, we all agreed it was one of the best parks we've ever been in. It was worth the big investment and worth the wait. Number 1. Herschend. One of the biggest stories of 2025 came back in March, when Herschend won the bid for the Palace Parks that Parques Reunidos put up for sale. And just like that, this small but powerful chain expanded its presence in America, more than doubling their properties. Herschend is the company that operates Dollywood and Silver Dollar City, but over the years, they've picked up Wild Adventures, and more recently, Kentucky Kingdom and Adventureland. But now, they picked up a lot of northeastern parks into their portfolio, including Kennywood, Idlewild, Dutch Wonderland, Lake Compounds, and Storyland, also 5 water parks. With the Six Flags Cedar Fair merger consolidating a lot of these regional parks under one umbrella, this acquisition makes Herschend a major player in the American theme park market. And if Six Flags starts selling off more parks, look for Herschend to pick up some of those pieces. Not to mention, as I'm making this video, news just broke that Silverwood is being acquired by Herschend also, so all the more reason Herschend is a big winner this year. That's the winners. Now for the losers, starting with an honorable mention, Codaland. I was going to put them on this list for delaying their grand opening for yet another year, but they were able to get Circuit Breaker open for mid-October for one of their races. A nice preview for what's to come once this becomes a full-time theme park, and not just something that's open when they have a concert or a race. So because of that preview, I can't put Codaland as a full loser. Number 10. Mattel Adventure Park. Although Codaland was able to partially open after years of delays, Mattel Adventure Park seems to be stuck. They've done a lot of work on the property. Not sure how much of that is recent, but this park in Glendale, Arizona just keeps getting pushed back year after year. Apparently, it's because this is part of the VAI resort, and they're doing a phased opening of multiple attractions, and that's why it's taking a backseat to other parts of this resort. Regardless, by the time it opens, it will have been delayed at least 3 years, so that's no fun. Number 9. ZDT's Amusement Park. Back in August, this park closed down, but it wasn't for negative reasons. The owners wanted to retire, so it's hard to call this a true loser, but we did lose something with their Gravity Group Shuttle wooden coaster, Switchback. This coaster put this little family fun center on the map, And it's a one-of-a-kind coaster in the world. And honestly, even with all its constraints on space, they managed to make it a very good ride. The property has been taken over by Jungle Jam, turning this into Jungle Jam Extreme at ZDT's. So it's right back to being a play area for kids, and Switchback is still on the market. Hopefully some park wants to buy it at some point, and we don't end up losing it on the scrapyard. Number 8. B&M. There was a lot of ink spilled over B&M's problems back in 2024, opening Iron Menace, Phoenix Rising, and Penguin Trek, all of them having a weird rattle. This was a new age phenomenon for B&M, something that didn't seem to exist even going back to 2023, and people were hoping in 2025 it would be better. By all accounts, it's not. Apparently, Wrath of Rakshasa is a rough mess on the edge seats. I can attest Raptera is very bouncy on the outside seats, and even Big Bad Wolf the Wolf's Revenge was rougher than it should have been, even though it wasn't that bad. It is a strange new world where Vekomas are butter smooth and B&Ms are a shaky mess, but that's reality in 2025, and I hope they can solve this issue going into 2026, because a 300-foot dive coaster on an edge seat sounds like it could be a nightmare. Number 7. Intamin. Right in the middle of summer, Intamin issued a manufacturer recall on their straddle coasters, so rides like Wavebreaker at SeaWorld San Antonio, Arctic Rescue at SeaWorld San Diego, and Dark Coaster at Busch Gardens Williamsburg were out of service for a good chunk of the prime summer season, something that doesn't help Intamin's reputation just as they were doing a good job repairing it. Before the merger, Cedar Fair seemed to avoid Intamin because of reliability issues, and after the merger, Intamin slapped the leadership of Cedar Fair one more time. Number 6. Six Flags New England. Although Cedar Fair was avoiding Intamin, Six Flags had no problem going to Intamin for their cheaper options, one of those being a new family-friendly straddle launch coaster, Quantum Accelerator. They had the ride built, the media day was set, and then it was pushed back, and then set again, and then pushed back again, and finally on July 1st, it was announced the ride would be pushed to 2026. It hurts because it came so close to opening before the final word came down, and it seems like it was related to the Intamin straddle coaster closure, and rather than open it later in the summer, Six Flags decided just to push it off a whole year. Number 5. Six Flags Magic Mountain. There was a time where it looked like we were getting a new coaster on the side of the Golden Bear Theater for 2025, and Superman Escape from Krypton was still running. Fast forward to the end of 2025, that new coaster is still a pile of dirt. That 2025 opening is now a 2026 opening, and that even looks like it's going to be 2027 now. And also, Superman is officially dead. So, Magic Mountain lost the coaster, and not only failed to open their new coaster, but that new coaster doesn't seem like it has a chance to even hit its delayed 2026 goal, and the park has been silent about anything new for the next season. Just a quick postscript. At the time of this recording, track and supports have just arrived on site. There's no official announcement from the park, but a possibly late 2026 opening is still on the table. That is, if they hurry with construction. Just interesting they haven't announced anything yet if they do plan to open this in 2026. Number 4. Glenwood Caverns. In 2021, there was a death on the Haunted Mine Drop ride, and based on my understanding, it was because the child was not strapped into her seat when the ride began. The jury awarded the plaintiff $205 million, and the park released a statement that said the verdict puts the park's future in jeopardy. They also had some questionable comments, including how they offered the family all their insurance money and they rejected it, and placing all the blame on Soaring Eagle, the manufacturer, and I guess it wasn't received well because they took the statement down. It was a bad look for Glenwood Caverns, on top of their future being in question. Number 3. American Heartland. In 2023, this park was announced for Veneta, Oklahoma, a $2 billion project, and it seemed too good to be true at the time, but they started breaking ground, so it seemed like they were serious. They ran into some land issues that made their 2026 target unrealistic, and the project really hit the fan in 2025. One of their big investors suing the promoters of the park, Gene Becknell saying he was robbed of $60 million, alleging fraud even to the point where the promoters were impersonating God to get him to commit the money. Who knows how that lawsuit will shake out, but it's not good. One of their big benefactors is suing them. The park's target was delayed till 2029, and I think everyone would be stunned if this ever wound up opening. Number 2. The Six Flags Entertainment Corporation. The Six Flags Cedar Fair merger was finalized in 2024, and it's been rough sledding ever since, closing a ton of rides, closing one park and saying many more will be on the market, failing to hit their estimates for the second quarter, having their CEO Richard Zimmerman and chairman of the board Salim Basul step down, and most of all, most of those 2026 editions they talked about will not be happening in 2026. Carowinds, Canada's Wonderland, Not Soak City, Great America, and Great Adventure were all on the list, And we may see Soak City get the facelift they mentioned, and maybe Magic Mountain does end up opening their new coaster before the year's up. But the water rides and coasters and kids areas coming to the other parks won't be happening next year. That is, unless a really late announcement comes down, which just seems unusual if they've been planning these additions since 2024. The only 3 parks from the list that actually made an announcement for 2026 is Kings Island with Phantom Theater, Over Texas with Tormenta, and Mexico with Speedway Stunt Coaster. It may be all part of the plan to get the company back on its feet, but it's not instilling a lot of confidence in the consumer. Number 1. Six Flags America. When you have a park close its doors after 51 years, that's gotta be number 1. We all like to poke fun at Six Flags America for its lack of investment and bad operations, but it was a major park right in the heart of coaster country, and it's gonna be weird not having this park around anymore. Its future isn't clear. We don't know who's gonna buy the land. We don't know if the government will allow them to use the land for something else. But right now, it doesn't seem like this will continue on as a park, and even if it does, what will happen to the rides? Most, if not all, the coasters are assumed to be scrapped. Everyone treated its final day of November 2nd, 2025 like a funeral. This was it. It wasn't going to get a change of ownership. It was gone. And this may be the first of many parks that leaves the Six Flags chain. Hopefully the others just have a change in ownership and don't get razed for apartment buildings. That's a wrap on the winners and losers of 2025. Let me know what you think about my picks. And if you would add anything to the winners or losers list, sound off in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, and if you're new here and love coasters, please give me a sub. Also, check out my second channel where I post copyright-free off-ride footage. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.